So I'm actually measuring this right now, and I don't want to put it too low because of this receptacle right here. Uh, so I'm thinking about probably coming down to 15. So from this top part of the shelf, maybe come down 15 inches. I think right there. Um, I think that's fine. I think it's fair because it's gonna be 15 inches from the bottom of the TV as well. So I think that'll work fine. I have seen some comments on the Home Depot website saying that these screws aren't the best. These are the screws that come with the brackets, but we're going to use them anyways. Because this is an 8-foot shelf that we're going to be installing, I recommend at least using four of these brackets. It's up to you if you want to use six, but these brackets are a bit expensive. They're like about $15-16 each. And when I was buying these from Home Depot, they had three different designs. They had an L bracket, like you can see here. These are the L brackets. So these look slightly different than these, but I asked ChatGPT, and ChatGPT said out of the three they had displayed on there, this is the strongest. This would be the strongest one, or the one that could support the most weight. So this is the one I chose for the 8-foot shelf. I'm only going to be installing four, but it's up to you if you want to install more than that. I put down the measuring tape. I set it at 8 feet. So we're gonna find out where the studs are at, and then we're gonna align from there. I'm not too concerned about it being centered. If it's offset by a bit, that's fine. I have these magnets I'm going to use, and this is going to help me find the stud. How I'm going to install these brackets is going to be a bit different than how I've been doing it lately. I'm going to try a new method, and hopefully it's easier for me. I'm not sure, but I'm just going to try it out, see if it works. Oh, I see something right here. Okay, okay. So right there, we have our first one. So if we put this, so most likely these studs are 16 inches apart. It could be that 16. So 16 right there. That's where this is at. So at the 32-inch mark, which is around here somewhere, there should be another stud. Yep, right there. As you can see, it's right there. The same thing should be true. If we go to 48 inches, 48 inches is right here. There should be another stud right here. Let's see if it's true. Yep, there's one right there. Alright guys, so far I have these sections labeled. So these are the studs that I have so far. I'm going to label a total of 6, maybe 7, just so I could get a visual of where I want to place my brackets. So I'm just using this strong magnet to stick to the nails that are on the studs. And I'm using this laser from Milwaukee to make a perfect line so I could put the tape right there. I'll show you how it looks like, but that's what I'm doing so far. I put a piece of tape on the laser, that way it wouldn't actually hit the TV I'm not sure if it would cause a problem, but I don't want to take any chances. All right, so this was a bit weird because I'm at the 64-inch mark, but the laser's a bit offset. So even though it's supposed to be where the laser's at, it's a little bit offset to the side. So we're gonna move this laser a bit to the left. Okay, so that's gonna be our new guide. We're going to make sure it follows. It's pretty good. Yeah, it's on there. That's where it was just at. Now, I still need to determine the exact height I'm going to screw these brackets to, but we'll do that in a bit. That seems pretty straight to me. Somewhat, yeah. Okay. So 80, but it's a little offset, so we're going to, I'm actually going to shift this a bit. So this stud should be around here somewhere. No, it's not there. Okay, it's right there. Okay, so this stud is actually where it's supposed to be. Somewhat. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Over. Okay. Yep, this is where it's supposed to be. What the heck? This thing was accurate moments ago. So when we're down here, it's correct. But when we move up here, it's like the stud goes this way, which is kind of weird. See? It's not supposed to do that. But because we're going to mount it up here, not down there, we're going to have to readjust this laser a bit more to the right. Yeah, that's a concern. I'm not sure how studs work, but I think what's going on is the stud's supposed to go straight, but this stud is going, it's starting off right here. It's starting off straight, but it seems like it makes like a slight curve this way. I can't explain it, but I think that's what's going on. All right, let's make this adjustment. Okay. So now when we go and do this again, it should be straight. So should be straight, 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 somewhat. It's around there, kinda. But when it's down here, the studs the studs on that side. Okay. So this is where okay. So okay. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then this one's gonna be 6. And from those 6, we're going to pick 4. I think I'm going to do this one, these 2 in the middle, and this one on the end. I think that's what I'm going to do. Because remember, we're only doing 4. So we'll see how things go. All right, so I have the laser here, and it seems to be pretty accurate. I'm getting okay results. It does seem a bit offset. See, seems good right there. Yeah, seems fine. Oh, this is bothering me. Hold on. It's like this seems like barely right there. There we go. It's somewhat right there. Yeah, it's a little offset. Let's move it a bit to the left. Right there, see how that is. Okay. Okay. Seems all right. So this is where so this is where we're going to put our tape. Okay. I just got done putting the tape, 6 pieces of tape. I think I'm going to stick to my original plan. I'm going to do the 2 on the very edge and the 2 in the center. So we're going to exclude this one and this one. Again, I don't really care if it's centered to the receptacle that's in the center. I just want to mount it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to measure the height where we want the shelf. I want it about 15 inches from the bottom of the TV. That's where I want the center of the shelf. So we'll probably use the leveler to help with this. So I'm going to get my measuring tape. Whoa, that's not good. That's not good at all. Alright, so we want this about 15, I want to say like a cool 15 inches. Alright. You know what? That's not bad where it's at right now. It's not a bad height. I wouldn't mind this height actually. Okay. So we actually need to place it as such, like this. So we're going to, I'm actually going to sit down because it's easier on the legs. Okay. So we're using the leveler to keep this in the correct height. Okay, hold on. These things are not the lightest brackets in the world. They're pretty heavy. So this is where we're going to be making our holes. All right, so I made the holes, and this is what we got. So what the thing we're going to do different now is instead of doing that 4 times, I'm going to use the laser to make the holes. Okay. All right, so as you can see, that is where we have our stuff. So let's make sure that this is going to work the way we want it to. Let's okay, yep. So we should be able to do 4. All right, so I'm going to take off the 2 that we're not going to be using. It's going to be that one and this one. So we're just going to put brackets on the okay. That looks kind of centered, right? No, it doesn't. It doesn't look centered. Oh, snap. Okay. So we have our new height for the laser. We adjusted it. As you can see, all right, so now I'm going to start drilling these holes. I'm going to use a 532. I'm not sure if you can see it right there, but it's this one. I think that one's adequate. So that's what we're going to use to dig into the studs. All right, let's go. I'm going to be on the slow setting. Oh yeah, the studs are there for sure. Let's hope we don't hit any studs too, like the actual nails. nails in here, but fuck, dude. Okay, so far so. Last one. Okay. All right. All right. So it looks like we got this on pretty good. Meet the holes on all 4 of them. I did feel the studs, so I think we're going to have a pretty good grip. So we can start peeling the tape off on these guys. You can use it, you can use a drill, but to me, this feels more comfortable. I feel like I have more control of the screw. Okay. I just want them in there for now. Okay. You gotta be careful. Be careful. Alright, we're locked in, guys. Okay. Da, far away. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Putting this on. So we're just gonna want to get this on there first. This is hella high though. Okay. We're just gonna want to drive him in a little bit. We're not gonna go too crazy. This one is a little crooked. I could probably hit it with the hammer or something. All right, guys. So we installed all 4 of them. As you can see, we've installed all 4. Now I just need to level them because they're a bit loose. That's why I didn't want to tighten them all the way, because I need to make sure that they're pretty close to the same level. We'll do it right there. Fuck it. Let's go. just to get it into place first. So let's do that. Oh, this one's tight. Mm-hmm. That's a tight one right there. Fuck. Okay. I'm gonna have to pull out the. Oof. Okay. Yeah, be careful with that. Okay. So I bought an 8 foot by 25 inches. Now, the reason I did this was because if you buy a single 8 foot board that's already cut to 12 inches, it costs like $200. But if you buy this 8 foot by 25, it's $250. So it's a lot cheaper if you just get this board and cut it in half, and you save $150. Yeah. Now they do recommend that once you open this, you apply a finish to it, and we do have a finish. We're going to be applying some of this, so I'll show you how to apply some of this too. It's still wrapped up, so we're going to have to open it. If you want to look at some of the details, here they are. It's an 8 foot butcher block countertop. So we're going to cut this in half, and then we're going to sand it, and then we're going to put a sealant over it. Okay, so first let me open this up. Came with a nice little care guide. We'll have to look at this later. It's a nice piece of wood. It's I think it's an inch and a half. It's an inch and a half deep, so we're gonna have to make adjustments to the circular saw we're going to be using. So it's 20. So it's 25. It's 25 inches wide. So we can't cut it at 12 and a half. We have to cut it at either 12 inches or 12 inches and 1/16. One thing I like to note is that make sure you're using a table that you don't mind cutting into like this, because the circular saw might go and cut a little bit underneath the piece of wood. So make sure you're not cutting into a table that you really like. But here we go. So we want to make sure. I've already made my holes, but in case you didn't see. So this goes up to 16 inches, but I have it right here. And we're going to put a line at the 12-inch mark, which is right there. I already did it, but I'm showing you a demonstration just in case. God damn. Yeah. So it's already there. So pretty much you're gonna do this for all 4 sides, which I already did. See? We're actually going to use this Milwaukee track saw. I have 2 of these pieces, so I'm going to have to connect them together before I proceed with the cutting. Pre-installed, I just have to slide them over. It's this right here. I just have to slide these over. There's one on the other side, and this will make sure they're connected. Okay. Now we're going to do the same to the other side. The other side has some as well. Here are the points we're going to be cutting, so I'm going to try to align this with these points. I made some over here. The track saw, so this is 8 feet, so it's 90. The piece of wood is 8 feet long, so it's 98 inches. The track saw is 55 inches a piece, so it's 110 inches in total, so we should have enough space. Before I actually take out the saw, I need to make sure I clamp this down. So let's see. Okay. So as you can see, these are the clamps. These are an interesting piece of equipment because they clamp to the bottom of this. I'll show you right now. So you have the option to either do it from the top. You can either slide these to the top if you want to clamp from the top, or to the bottom. We're going to be doing the bottom right here. So this could clamp to the bottom of the wood. I would say it's on the money. I wouldn't mind shifting this a bit to the right. Right there. Yeah, I don't mind being a bit off. Okay. I'm basically just tightening this. I'm gonna tighten this up now. Yeah. Twisting it. Let's grab from up there. It's really tight now. There we go. I don't want to break it, just as long as it's stuck on there. it is. Okay. We're gonna do the same thing on the other side too. Okay. So we're actually gonna push this in. I'm pretty happy with where it's cutting. So if we drop this down, I have too much depth of field right now, sorry. But it's cutting where I want it to. I've dropped down the blade and it looks pretty good. So we're gonna move this up a bit. Okay, right there. Now we're gonna tighten this up. Okay. Now, ideally when you want to use this machine, you want to have a vacuum. But in this case, we're just gonna use the little bag it comes with to collect the dust. All right, so let's begin. We want to make sure that it's cutting where we wanted it to cut to. So we're going to be putting this with the tracks. If it has the tracks on, we're using this. And so we're cutting that. Yeah, so it's 0, ½ inch, inch, inch and a half. This is where we want it to be. And we could always check too. So that's going to cut where we wanted to cut. Let's make sure this might actually conflict. Everything's clamped up, everything's good. Okay. Came out pretty smooth. A nice finish. About 13 inches. We need to get it down to 12. So this one's ready to go, but now we need to cut this one. Alright, you guys, before doing anything else, before we do any sanding or sealing this, we need to make sure it fits. Oh yeah, it fits perfect. Well, a little perfect. Oh, it's really snug right here. Now, I don't think it's because of the wood I cut. I think the wood was cut perfectly fine. I think it's more likely that the wall isn't flat. This wall isn't flat, and it's probably seeps in here a bit because this is kind of tight right here. But I'm not really picky about this. I'm going to leave it as is. I'm still pretty satisfied with the results. As you can see, there is some wiggle room right here. But the problem I came across was this. It's really snug right here. It's tight. But I think it's, again, like I said earlier, I think it's because the wall isn't completely flat. So it seeps in right here a bit more than the rest of the other brackets. See, all these other brackets have wiggle room, and this one doesn't. But I'm going to leave it as is. I think it's perfectly fine. It's able to do what I want it to do. But if you want to avoid this issue, cut it at 12 inches because you never know when you might get a spot in the wall that isn't completely flat with the other parts. So now that I know that it fits, we're going to sand it and we're going to seal it. So I'll show you how to do that in a bit. This piece of wood isn't flush with the wall, and that's because the wall isn't perfectly flat. There's like an opening right there. Let me see if I could get a better angle. See? So it's flush. It's flush in the corner, but as you get out, there's an opening. So right now we're going to start the sanding process, and we're going to use 220 fine grit. Apparently this is good for really, really smooth finishes. Here's that.